Hi everyone, welcome to Kim Porter TV. I'm Kim Porter, business and life coach for women, and today I have with me Tyler Midgett. So Tyler is a multi-passionate entrepreneur. She's a yoga instructor for 10 years. She's a vibe creator with styling interior spaces, and she teaches private yoga sessions in her amazing hut. Is it, you call it a hut, is it?
Yes.
She's like, it's like going into Costa Rica. So I think that is amazing. She is also a writer, and she helps women and men create peaceful, inspired lives. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'm so excited. So Tyler and I are friends we follow each other on Instagram. She also knows my sister, that's how I met her. And I made a post on Instagram the other day about part of my story, about what I, how I kind of got on this journey. And Tyler commented that she was on a similar journey or had been on a similar journey.
Yes.
And I was like, I want to hear about your journey, because to me, we're all on a journey. Some of us just don't know it yet, but once we kind of go through it, it can feel a little dark and scary and uncertain. So the more we talk about it, the more that we kind of share our stories with others, the easier it is. So will you please tell us a little bit about your journey?
My journey. Like you said, I think it's important for us to realize that we all are on our own journey, and that we discussed releasing the stigma that is surrounded by women following these calls, these passions that we have. And that although we're wives and mothers, that we still have these feelings of dreams and visions for ourselves that we don't want to rely on anyone else to bring to fruition for us, that we want to find a way to fulfill those things on our own. I feel like bringing peace and inspiration to people is really important, and hopefully I do that. And I also want people to feel like, am I allowed to say?
You're allowed to say whatever you want.
I think it's important that women feel like badasses. I just do. I think that sometimes we can lose our fight, and it's good for us. We can still remain peaceful humans, but still feel like we have sass and fight within us, and that it's important for us to have these things to be strong women.
Yeah. And one of the conversations we had, because we were talking a little bit about this before, so I'm just going to adjust this so we're not like all flowers above our head, that our why is bigger than just our kids and our spouse. And I'm feeling this so deeply. I'm like scrolling through social media the other day, and a woman who seems to be doing very well had her daughter next to her, and she's like, and this is my why. And I just think we can do so much better than that, so much deeper than that. Our kids bring meaning and depth and love and joy into our life. But my why is bigger than my children. Like, I'm here for something so much deeper than just being a mother and being a wife, and any other job title or any other title that we hold. Like, we're here for a purpose bigger than that.
Absolutely, and not as a negative thing either, by saying that we don't think that. Of course, our children are our why.
They're our whole world.
They are our whole world. We do everything because we want to make sure that they see in us what they can go for and what they can feel and not just have, but to realize things from an earlier age, that your journey is your own, and that they are on their own journey and we are on our own journey, and no one can ever live through anyone else. And we cannot live through our children.
And we cannot find happiness just in our children, because they will turn on us. They will say something. They will, inevitably, kids are kids. They're going to go and find their own path. And if you put everything just into your children, then when they leave and you look around and you go, what do I have now? Who am I?
Who am I? And then you're asking later on what you should have been asking yourself sooner.
Way past the time.
Mm-hmm. So I really agree with that. I think that we really need to pay attention to ourselves in a positive way, not in a selfish way. I believe that our children enhance our lives, and they are, like we said, they're a major part of everything. But there is going to be that moment where you sit back and you say, what am I offering the world? How am I going to offer it? And what do I feel alive?
Yeah. My question
how do I
was,
feel
what is my
alive?
purpose here?
What is my purpose?
Why am I here? And it was, we talked about, you said the calling, and mine was literally whispers. It was literally me doing makeup on someone and hearing, you're supposed to be doing something more. There's something more for you. Not because I didn't love what I did, but because I was really getting these downloads from the universe of like, something else is out there for you. You need to go find it. You need to search for it. And when you go through that journey, it is dark. It can be a scary, frightening place, especially we talked about depression can play into that. When you don't understand what's happening to you, I know I felt guilty because I had created this beautiful, wonderful life that I had worked so hard for, that I had burnt myself out for. But then when you get everything that you've ever desired and you look around and you go, is this it? Is this all that there is? Like, I'm just going to constantly be striving for something else. Like, is this feeling of having to move the goalpost a little bit farther, is it ever going to end? And I just remember going, I can't keep doing this. Like, I want to feel happy and fulfilled and whole right where I am without all the other things that come with success and being driven.
Yeah, I think that there is a place of, we're always going to need to realize there is a place where we need to find contentment, but that doesn't mean that we have to become complacent.
Yes.
That we can always recreate ourselves, that just because we decided early on that we wanted to go for a certain goal or a certain career or whatever it might be, that it's okay to recreate ourselves. I mean, if you look at artists and you look at musicians, I mean, look at somebody, prime example is somebody like Madonna. She's recreated her image over and over and over again, but she still has
part of
that
her brand.
Yeah, it's part of her brand. While we're all on our own journey, there is still something that there is a oneness within us, and that I don't want anything to feel, I want everyone to feel their individuality, and that can be expressed in so many different ways. And me offering that with furniture or design and things like that, and helping people find this place where they feel most like themselves and most peaceful, and they feel like very proud of what they have created in their home. And
it just makes you happier.
it does.
Yeah.
It makes everything feel
Like flow.
yeah,
Like,
flows. It feels good.
In my work, in my life, in my family, and everything flows.
And when we get stuck, that it's not necessarily a negative thing, even though it feels like it at the time, that there's always this place, that aha moment.
Yeah.
I love the aha moment.
Yeah.
Where we
And
look back.
you're stuck and you feel stuck. I mean, that's a thing that women say to me a lot. I feel stuck. I don't know what the next step is. And you're saying that's okay. Be in that space and live in it for a little while and feel it.
Yeah, it's okay to feel stuck. Right now, personally, I'm at this crossroads where I'm deciding, do I have too many things that I'm working on at once? And then there's another part of me that says, no, that you don't have to choose, that you can go different routes, and you can offer the things that make you feel alive.
It feels good.
It feels
whatever
good.
you follow, whatever's feeling good is what you want to do, because there is a reason that feels good to you. There's a purpose there for you.
There is a purpose. And while we might not know exactly what our purpose is, that I believe that following those calls, following those whispers, those that conscience, those messages that we get are really important moments, because
they're not sent to us by accident.
Right. And I think that we have certain people that come into our lives, and they're supposed to spark something within us to give us that next look into where we're going to go.
Let's talk about the movie thing that you were telling me.
Oh yeah, I had a wonderful friend who is a writer, and she inspires me, and she's sort of almost like an aunt. She feels like an aunt to me. And we were working, and we were cleaning out one of her family members' homes, and I felt really good about helping her do this because she trusted me to be in this space, and I was going through a really difficult time, and she had been through some similar things, and she said to me, "You're only in the second act. Imagine as if you were looking you were in this, your own movie, and people were looking at you from a crowd, and they see all these different scenes going on in the movie.
Yeah.
And there you are. They see what's next for you,
Yes.
and they think, "Don't stop! You're almost there.
You're almost there."
It's as if, I don't want to compare it to finding the love of your life, but in a cheesy chick flick movie, it would be like,
Yeah.
"No, don't sit
Keep
there and
going.
cry. He's right there." But
Go outside your door and find him.
yes, let's change it to, your passion is right there,
Yeah.
and you have this thought that you want to do to get to this place, and there are all these things that are going to happen along the way, and there will be that choice that you have to make.
Yes.
And if you are on the outside looking in at this movie, you would say, keep going, don't stop, you're almost there.
No one's ever going to tell you to stop. No one would ever tell you don't keep going.
No, and
growing and expanding.
Right. And there's always that time where there is, you decided to just, I'm going to stay a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And that moment is almost when it happens.
It really does happen. That is like, it's almost like the universe like throws you a doggy bone. It's like, here you go. I'm going to let you have a little bit of this because you've held on and you've struggled and you've gone through it, because none of this happens without struggle.
It was almost like a test.
It was a test.
Do you really want
Yeah.
this? And yes.
How bad do you want it?
And
You have to show up.
Right. You have to show up. You are playing the role. You are the one that is creating your life. That destiny goes a certain length for you, and
Do you feel like the hero's journey? Does that ever resonate with you, with the hero's journey as a writer?
What is the hero's journey?
The hero's journey. Oh, so it's like this. It's there's like a book or things about it, but someone who was a writer wrote about this hero's journey. That every book, every movie has the same kind of like plot, where it's like the person is living a life, and then they have to decide whether they're going to go, one way or the other. So you have that proverbial fork in the road.
Yes.
And they decide to go the path unknown, and they do this path and go through these trials and tribulations, and then they come back as a new person. And so you have to look it up, Hero's Journey. I did a video about it not too long ago, and it's like spoke to me so much, because I feel like that is like, you go, I'm going to go on the path unknown, and it's not easy. And then you come back and you're like a completely different person.
Okay, so I will tell you what my hero's journey is, or my thought about the hero's journey through something that is a very important part of my life, and that was Into the Wild. That book was a pivotal part of me deciding a lot of things, because, not to go too much off of topic, but this person has so many things that he has questions about, and he goes into the wild, into Alaska. I'm sure that people have seen the movie or read the book. And, but when I read the book, it was something that resonated huge with me, because he talks about, being on your own and stepping out into the wild and trying and doing something at least just once.
Yeah.
And really being in the rough and hardest of human conditions.
Which you don't have to put yourself in that space
No.
to go through your own transformation.
Absolutely not.
But it's normal for it to feel difficult. It's normal
is.
for it to feel dark. It's normal for it to feel like you're not sure that you can go on. But then you pick yourself up and you keep going. But then there's a light. I feel like everything comes brighter and more alive when you go through something like that.
Right. And and the realization at the end, it's very sad, but this particular story, but the message is that the person comes back and they realize what is wonderful and what is great,
really meant to be.
what is meant for you, and what you're supposed to be doing. And I think that the darker days make us question things on a different level, and it's not necessarily a negative one. And that the dark days that help create our story, we appreciate the happier and more peaceful moments. Absolutely. Because we know what the dark can feel like.
Yes.
And I think that it's pushed aside way too much for people, that this journey,
Yes.
that the negativity, people feel like they can't
I don't want to
relate.
feel, I shouldn't feel bad.
I shouldn't feel
If I
bad.
feel bad about my life, then that's a bad thing. And I should go overeat, over whatever to like make it feel like it goes away.
Yeah. And we can't, it's okay to feel these things.
It is okay to sit in it.
And to sit in
But
it. and be
society
okay.
tells us not to feel it. Like, just go buy something, you'll feel better.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, that nobody else is, you tend to tell yourself that nobody else has been
Feels
on
this
this
way.
journey. No one's
Nobody
ever felt
understands.
this way.
Yeah.
Because we are taught to hide
Yes.
when we feel these things
Yes.
instead of saying, me too.
Reaching out.
Reaching.
Yeah.
I
Well,
felt
and
that
I
way
feel
too.
like I didn't talk to anybody about it really. I mean, I talked to like close friends, like I just don't, something doesn't feel right, I don't feel right. But I didn't really tell anyone because I didn't know how to explain it. There wasn't a lot of words to understand what was happening. It just felt like something was off and that I needed to find out why. So there's a writer that says, share from the scar, not the wound. And it's because when you're in it, you can't really express it. And so when you wait a little while and then you get some distance from it and you get some clarity, then you can start sharing it. And isn't it part of our journey to share our stories and to help others to go through who are going through similar things? I think so too.
I think that absolutely. In yoga, we talk about becoming the observer of the mind. And that's kind of a baffling topic, you know, when you say that to a room full of people. What do you mean observe? Step back and observe the mind, you know, and it's true that there's a separateness from the mind, and that
Because we are not our thoughts.
we are not our thoughts, but we can create things with our thoughts.
Which is the exciting part.
Yeah.
There's like a plus and a minus. We can
Yes.
create things with our thoughts, which makes us the creator of our own lives.
Yes.
But then we are also not the mindless chatter that goes on in
Absolutely.
our thoughts. Yeah.
Right.
Which most people, that's something that not everyone understands.
Right.
And I don't think you can understand it until you get to a certain level of like consciousness,
Yes.
awareness.
Yes, self-realization.
Yeah.
And that definitely the consciousness. And I think that once you do understand that, it doesn't seem as baffling. It
clicks.
It clicks.
I remember it clicking. I was reading You Are a Badass, and I had done personal development before, but I'd never heard someone say it or read in a way that it clicked, and it clicked for me.
And that is to add to that is that you were reading that, and that is where it clicked for you. And even though the things that she said had been said before,
Forever.
there are all these things that have been said before,
Yes.
and things can be written in books that are like the same exact topic.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yet
It
they will
resonates.
not have resonated with you
Right.
until you read it in a way in which your mind is
Right.
meant to understand it.
Which is why our story and sharing it is so important, because
Yes.
what you say is going to resonate with somebody, and what I say is going to resonate with somebody else. And
Yes.
so sometimes we feel like, well, it's already been said before. It's already been done before.
Yes.
What am I going to write or say that no one else has said before? But it's what you say in a way that resonates with somebody else that makes it click for them.
Right, and one person might look at what you're saying and say, "Yeah, no kidding," you know,
Yeah.
and that's where you think to yourself, "Well, I'm saying the same thing," and you know, you allow that
To stop you.
to
right?
stop you.
Yeah, to stop you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And but in reality, you're not speaking to the ones that already have heard it. You're on the same level as them, really. I
Right.
mean, not that you're.
It's a consciousness level.
It's a consciousness
It's not
level. Exactly. Thank you.
It's not a who's more worthy or who is more special or who is. It's just a
No.
conscious. I've been doing podcasts, and I've been saying like, oh, you know, when I'm on this level with someone and then I have to go back and be on a level. It's not a status level.
Absolutely.
It's a consciousness level.
Right, where when you're discussing it with someone like
Who
we are
understands,
now,
yeah.
it flows very easily because I know exactly what you're thinking
Yeah.
and what you're saying. And I've been there too.
Yeah.
It's that I've been there too. But then there's the people that are seeking it, that are listening to you and say, that's exactly what I've been feeling this whole time, and that you put into words what I've been feeling. And I think that is a pivotal point.
It is. Yeah, and I think that's what we're both seeking in different ways. And I want to be a coach and a life coach where you're doing it in a way that you're creating spaces for people where they can feel alive and in their purpose.
Yes.
And it's important. We all have levels. I said this the other day too, like not all of us can be creative entrepreneurs. We need people who are at the grocery store bagging our groceries. We need people who are building the bridges and, you know, sending us into space. There are so many different ways to live in your purpose. It's what lights you up, and it's what gets you excited. It's what makes you want to get out of bed in the morning and live your life and seek something bigger than ourselves.
And also, you know, you can still be doing something. You know, the person that is bagging your groceries, they could be the most enlightened human.
Amazing,
you know?
like, and it's an energy. I can feel the energy on someone. Can you feel that?
Absolutely.
I can feel it. There's just, we all have energy.
We do. We all have energy.
And our thoughts.
Yes.
Make that. Yeah.
And whenever I've taught a class, and I've mentioned before that we do not stop at our skin. You know, our energy flows out from us. That's how we attract and look at each other, and we can feel when something is off, and we are a lot of times in our society taught to push away that intuition.
I've done it many times.
You know, and I have as well, because we see what we want to see a lot of times, and we push away things that we probably should become more aware of.
Yeah.
And
but that takes experience.
It does. It absolutely does. And I think that sometimes we're meant to have those moments so that we can realize, I should have trusted that.
Yeah.
I
it's
knew
a lesson.
That. I felt that. It's a lesson.
Yeah, these are lessons. And that's what we go back to failure. Failure is never failure. It's always just a lesson. If you can look at it as a lesson, then it doesn't have to feel this bad, horrible space. I learned from it.
Yes.
And I grew from it.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And going for those dreams. And sometimes the fear of failure is not just the failure of not making something happen. It's the fear of losing, you know, what we have, and material possessions, and you know, the respect of the people that we respect, and you know, we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for ourselves, but as well as the people around us. And I think that sometimes fear holds us back in that way. But
we can't let it rule us.
We can't let it rule us.
We don't let it rule us. And I think we were laughing about the ages of our children, because you have a 13, a 12, and a 3-year-old, and I have a 14, 11, and a 3-year-old. And we both have bonus babies. The last one was like a complete surprise. And by living in our purpose, and by standing up for ourselves and for what's right, and for what we believe what's right for us, we're showing our children what's possible. And we're showing them a path that they may have never seen before, because I think our parents were taught, you know, you only live a certain way, you only do these certain things, and we're expanding their awareness of what's possible for them. Yeah,
and that just because one family lives their life like this, or one child plays this sport or does this thing, doesn't mean that that is the way we are. You know, that you are on your own journey, and just like I'm on my own journey, and that I want them to know that it's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay that I am your mom, but I also
I'm a soul.
I am a soul.
Yeah.
I am a soul, and I have purpose that I want to put certain things out in the world, and I believe that I have things to say, and I feel driven to say them, and I feel like some people want to hear what I have to say, and that's wonderful. I hope that I make people feel good about what they're feeling and what they're doing and their direction, and that my kids will do the same on their own journey. You know,
even if you're an engineer, like you can still have an energy and a life about you and a purpose about you, that it's like, I feel like us creative entrepreneurs, we get something, like, you know, we just feel this so deeply in ourselves, this creativity. But even if you're a scholar, you're still creative. It's still creativity in your own way.
And it's, you know, comes with the left and right brain thinking, and some people may be more apt to go towards something more math brained,
but creative in their own, like
they're creative in their own way. They create skyscrapers, and this is their passion. And I think that it's great for everyone to feel that there is a passion. And yes, we do have moments where people are like, well, great, you can follow your passion, but I'm going to go over here and make my money, because that's what I'm going to do to support my family.
We have to have money.
We do. And that is a reality. And we can't always say, well, I'm going to follow my passion. It's not this empty following of passion. You can still follow passion, still work
Keep your day job.
and keep your day job.
Yeah.
And that even though you're working your day job, that you still can be a leader in your own life, and and you're at your 9 to 5 or
in your community.
5 to 6, and in your community. But when you're working this 9 to 5er and you are doing what you're doing, that you're doing it the best to the best of your ability, and that there is something about you that people listen to, or that's special about the way that you do your job, and that
you could be the most excited bagger in the world, and
you
people will be in that line all day long because it's an energy that they feel. We want to be around positive energy.
We do.
I talk about that a lot, about actually attracting what you want in your life by having that high vibration, because when you're high vibe, you feel better, and then you do better.
You can, and I've actually said the opposite as well too, saying that you can still be a high vibration person but still have empathy and compassion.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I think that you become more empathetic and
because
compassionate
we are one.
Because
we realize how one we are, the oneness that you talk about inside of us. That person that's on the street, begging for money has the same hopes, dreams, and things that I want.
Yes, and
we're all one.
Yes, and when you are vibrating higher, you can feel when you're vibrating higher, but you also know what it's like to feel that lower vibration. But that doesn't mean that you're necessarily can't identify when you're vibrating higher.
Yeah, I feel like my empathy was, when I went through my dark period, I felt more empathetic on so many levels. I would never be having a conversation like this, because I was like driven, success, money, like accolades. That's all I cared about. Like, what else can I get? What else can I do? And then when you go through a dark period like that, and you realize that there is a deeper purpose, and that we're all here on our own path, and then it does make you more empathetic, because you understand there's so much more than what we're thinking about, just the bills and the things that we're doing, our responsibilities. There's a universe out there that's so much bigger than us. We're on this little planet going around in the solar system, like
we are. And then it's something is always going to knock us down and to humble us. Yeah. When we get to that point of where we're, like you said, you're going for things, and you're not finding contentment with where you are. You're filling your ego, and then when we become aware, that consciousness that we are not.
I'm not that thing.
You're not that ego.
No.
And it's okay to want things.
Yeah.
And
I've been dealing with
drive.
Can I become an enlightened person and still have a drive about me? Because I'm afraid that if I become too aware of my consciousness and become too enlightened, that I will not have the drive. And that's the drive is one of the parts I love about myself, because I will always get back up.
Yeah, I think that becoming enlightened is becoming your most valuable and highest self, and I don't think that just because there's that stigma of the enlightened one is the one sitting under the tree eating, like little bits of nothing and like surviving on a sip of water.
Yeah.
No, that's maybe yes, for some that might feel like that is the journey. Yeah. And that's fine. However,
I always think a cabin, like they go and like hold themselves up in a cabin and like never deal with society ever again.
Yeah. And I think that, that and that's not really how it is. I think enlightenment looks different for everybody.
I think that's good that we're talking about this. That we're kind of opening this belief that to be enlightened has to look a certain way. Yeah. That's my own vision of what it looks like for me. But that doesn't mean it's right.
Right. Yeah. And I think that what's important is for us to awaken as people, and that there are certain qualities that we're supposed to learn about ourselves and about the journey, and that's where the oneness lies, that we're all seeking. We all want to feel love, and we all want to feel that we matter and we have purpose, and when we don't, we feel like you're searching for it.
Yeah, you feel it.
But it's right there, and sometimes, and it's okay to sit in limbo. And
it's okay to sit in a limbo. It's okay to not know what your purpose is. It's okay to feel the feelings, as long as you keep going.
Yeah.
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 That's
And
all
then
it is.
realize like what you know, that, and that's where you do the work of sitting in that space and realizing, and that's where you say, I'm thankful for. You write that list down.
Your gratitude list.
Your gratitude
Yeah.
list, you know, that this is where, you know, whether you are a journaler or whatever, this is all stuff that, you know, this gratitude that you think in your brain, this is I've done this.
Yeah.
Becoming aware of what you have created and what you have
how
manifested.
powerful you have been.
Yes, how
Yeah.
powerful I have been.
Yeah.
And to acknowledge those things.
Yeah.
To continue to receive those things. What is it? Ask, believe, receive.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
And that's a huge thing for people, is to really not give up in that, you know, life is not, I want this, I'm going to make a wish and some genie's going to create it.
Yeah.
And or God or whatever it might be. You know?
No, it isn't. But we can manifest
But
very
we
quickly.
can manifest it.
I'm a very good manifester, but I realized that I was manifesting things because I thought that I would feel whole, happy, and complete when I got them. And then when I got them, then I'm like, oh, what's next? Oh, what's
Yes.
next? And I had to realize that I have to feel whole, happy, and complete where I am. Because
Yes.
nothing can ever fulfill me.
Absolutely. And
That's
realizing
a powerful thing to
it
realize.
is.
And
It's
humbling.
so huge. It's humbling.
Yeah, it's humbling.
And because once you get something, it's like when, here's another analogy, is when you have really manifested that feeling of energy that you want to finally, you know, lose weight or something, or you work out and you get really, really in this tip-top shape, and you can get to that place, and then you're like, okay, but I still feel like me.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, what's next?
What's next? I got to lose more weight to feel
gotta-
better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and then you think to yourself,
exhausting.
wow. And it's just, and just like if you're going, you finally get that car you want.
Yeah.
You get it, and then you're like, okay,
Now I get to pay a bill and
well, now I have it. After the
newness.
bling
Yeah.
has shined off
The
of,
newness, yep.
of the accomplishment.
the leather
There
smell
is
goes
always,
away.
Yes, there's always going to be that next thing. That the
always.
journey is never over.
Yeah, but I've realized that the next thing for me is higher, deeper consciousness, and the happier that I am, the more I attract things that actually feel good to me without feeling like I'm constantly striving.
Yes.
I mean, I know that hustle mentality. Like, I mean, I hustle like nobody's business.
Same here.
But it's exhausting, and I don't want to live in that space, and I don't want my kids to see me living in that space of constantly striving for the next thing. So being present,
Yes.
doing the gratitude. I love to do with intentions. Like my intention is to feel calm, connected, and fun. My word is fun because I like to feel fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how we start on that path.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have anything
For
else to
sure.
add?
No, I totally agree with that. I think it's really important for us to feel connected with our highest self.
Yeah. No, great conversation. Thank you so much, Tyler, for being here with me, for
Thank you
talking
for
about
having
your
me.
journey. I mean, that is like something that we are normalizing this conversation for women to have and men to have as well. But as women, to say there is more to us than just being wives and mothers and whatever title we have for our career. We are a oneness, and we are here to make a difference and have purpose in our life. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So good. All right. Thank you, everyone. You can find Tyler on Instagram at Sunrise Surf Shack. And you can find me at Kim Porter TV on Facebook and Instagram at kimportertv.com for my website. So thank you guys so much for watching. We would love to hear from you. Please put your comments in the comment section and let us know what you thought about this. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Bye.